Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Born Political. Today, the show is not so political, even though we're living in a world right now that seems like we can't get rid of politics. So I hopefully, when you join us here tonight, that you'll get a little reprieve from it, because this is a little bit of a different show. I have my wife on the show tonight. I'm really excited about that, and we're really excited about the new building that Community Speaks Out just purchased. Tonight, we're going to talk about a little bit about the building, a little about what our goals are. Financial goals. Maybe, we can't ask you for money on the show, but we can certainly invite you down to come and take a look at the building. So without further ado, I want to welcome my wife, Tammy. Welcome to the show, honey. How are you?
Thank you. Hello.
It's been a little while since
I
you've
don't
been
know.
on.
I haven't seen you.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other, but so I know you're as excited as I am. We just bought the building. We bought it in December 17th. It took us about 2.5, 3 months to renovate it. We are in now. So if you're listening to the show and you want to come to one of our meetings, the third Wednesday of every month is a meeting I do, pretty much lead. That one is going to be at our new building. And you have, one night's a grief group, like if someone's watching.
It's the fourth Monday of every month.
The fourth Monday.
Yes.
So Tammy does a grief group, and it's really centered around folks that lost loved ones to addiction.
It's 6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m. That's going to be held, and I forgot to tell you the address, right? We're going to say it a few times, 124 North Street, and we're telling everybody that's the old Flats Tattoo, but as we keep thinking about the amount of Flats tattoos that have been scattered about Groton over the years, he's been a great business. He's been in a bunch of buildings. I worked on a few of them for him. They're a great tattoo shop, so he's not there anymore. 124 is Community Speaks Out. We're right next to Ortega's, and a package store that we talk about often that, although that's one of the stores that probably is a big reason that some people come and use our services. It's something that folks have to drive by every day too, and we talk about that.
Yeah.
So what's your goal for the place, honey? I know I want the bicycle thing that we're going to talk about later, but what do you think? It's more of a commercial place. People can stop in.
Yeah. I think that our goal was actually to create a safe place for people in recovery to come and have fun. But I am listening a lot to the community right now. I'm getting a lot of phone calls about us having this new space, and it's making me start to think outside the box, because we have a lot of things that they're craving to have, programs that are not available. So
Yeah.
I think that we have some, we have to get creative.
Get creative. We've done that because especially with the help, and without the help of the Groton Town Council, who you've met on my show. I've interviewed most council members, and the understanding that they have by just showing up to events that we've done, coming out to the community. We offer bowling for folks that are in recovery. Some of the dances that we've done, karaoke's that we've done. We rent the Elks Hall for all the bigger events. But we've had our mayor show up, which I think is vitally important.
Some of the
What's
town
some of the
councilors.
feedback you get from people?
And
right?
the town councilors too. Like we've
Yeah.
had, quite a few of them show up to a lot of the events. I mean, when they saw the last bowling event, when we actually had the mayor come in, they were like, "That's the mayor of Groton." Like, they get excited. They think that they're like that they matter, and they do matter.
Yep.
But it does give them a sense of just like really exciting to be welcomed into the community, not just be a recovery community, but they're part of the community.
Yeah, and we have asked for a lot of help, and we got it. Folks have come down. We ripped the chimney out, put up new cabinets.
It's looking really pretty.
We have a very aggressive working board. Jeremy, who is making these cameras go back and forth right now and making the volume be correct for this show. He's on the other side of the camera, but he made a lot of stuff happen, ripping down walls. Yeah, he was the first one. We bought the building, and I couldn't wait. I was chomping at the bit to start ripping stuff out. He beat me to that. Did a great job to start us off. And then we've had Joey Paul, who's a local painter. He came in, taped and painted. We had Chris Levesque that came in, and he pretty much was the all-purpose guy, took down trees. And then
Sean Kelly's been here and there trying to help.
Sean Kelly did some work, helped do cabinets. So we still have some work to do. If you're a tile guy and you're looking to do a backsplash, I think it's something that a great tile guy could probably do in probably an hour and a half. Maybe it's not a big area, but we still have to pick the tile. We're still working on that. If you want to volunteer at our place, there's a bunch of opportunities. I don't know,
yeah.
like what we're gonna have different programs going, but
Yeah. Right now, I mean, our space outside is kind of like going to
it's a
be.
mess.
It's a mess. We really want to create a really nice Zen space.
Zen.
Yeah, a very Zen space for people in recovery. We have to get creative because we're next to a package store.
Yep.
As we were looking for buildings, you're either next to a smoke shop. Uh, there's always a trigger, right? But we realized that they have to live in the community. They have to walk by these things.
Yep.
And so what better place to possibly, help them cope with that? So,
Yeah. And we're on a bus route. And the one thing that we learned by being involved with sober homes, with the folks that we serve, is there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that are living amongst us they're workers, they're part of the community. And we wanted to give them a spot where, let's face it, I still can drink a beer. I go to bowling, I can go to karaoke, I'm down at Sneakers. They were looking for a place where, we were sending them away to go get help. They'd come back here to Connecticut and say, man, we just don't have recovery here. It doesn't look right. They'd come back and say, there's 5 places in downtown XYZ in Utah where there's no drinking, but you would think it was a bar. And we kind of wanted to emulate that, or give people a place to go where they didn't have the pressure of having to drink or have someone say, hey, why aren't you drinking tonight?
I think it helps our board too, as an overall board. I mean, we participate sober, activities sober. Personally, I'm not a drinker, but going there, we've proven to ourselves that we don't need to have alcohol to have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, this space is going to be a great opportunity. We have had so many people reach out, whether they're cooks, whether they're bakers, like they just want to do something to help them, create an easy meal in a crock pot, make a nice carrot cake. Like they want to come in. We've had Luigi that wants to teach them to make homemade pizza. Luigi. But to know that they want to get involved, we don't want to silo people in recovery completely. We want people in the community and people in recovery to be able to come together and realize that we just need to learn how to cohabitate safely.
So if you get a chance to stop by our building, right now Tammy's been going there during the day. We do have an intern that's going to kind of be helping us out. So it'll be more active than we were at the other place. But what's different about this place is we're not sharing a building. We were renting. We really want to thank our previous landlord, Doug, who really, it's right across the street. If you're looking for a building to rent, it's a pretty big office. But it's right across the street from Paul's Pasta, so you have lunch, a really good lunch if you want. Every day you can walk across the street. We're really grateful for what he was done for us. He actually gave us a lower rent, I think, because of the work we were doing. It was great parking, but it was missing something. It wasn't on the bus route. It wasn't really a place where we could have people just come in, walk in, and walk out. We have 2 Connex boxes, which, if you're not familiar with those, you've seen them around town a little bit. They're shipping containers. We got 2 of them. One is gonna, so folks will come in, they'll have access to be able to open it, go in and borrow a bike. We're still working on that program now. Right now, they're kind of wedged in there. We're gonna make a rack system. But basically, if you're in recovery, a lot of times what people don't think about is you get out, whether it was jail or a rehab, or you're just reintegrating back in, and sometimes you only have your T-shirt. Sometimes you only have basic needs of basic clothes. We're going to have basketballs there. We're right down the street from Washington Park. You're going to be able to come borrow a bicycle. If you're at a sober home and you have, 2 or 3 people and you want to spend a day doing something, our goal is to have fishing poles in there with little setups where you can go fishing for porgy and blackfish, and we'll have a couple poles that you can just either walk down or take a bicycle down. That's the kind of stuff we're looking to do.
It's all health and wellness. Get out, get outside and enjoy what we have around here.
Yeah. And we have people in recovery that do a lot of fishing, but we have people who also know how to fish offshore. And like, if you wanted to be someone that wanted to, lead people and say, hey, I'm really good at fishing off the shore, off the rocks at Eastern Point, and you want to teach somebody, and they say literally teach a person to fish, a man to fish, and they'll eat for life, that kind of thing. Yeah. You could teach someone how to fish, how to fillet them. We want to do a fish fry at our place once everyone comes back. Like we have
He's got ideas.
I do have ideas. Probably way too
what?
many.
Not to interrupt you, but think about the relationship that a lot of people in active addiction have with outside. What is their relationship with it? They're homeless.
Yeah.
So when they finally get a place to stay, sometimes they'll lock themselves inside. They're just so grateful to be out of the weather, outside just in general, and having to sleep. They have to learn how to reinvent themselves and reinvent their relationship with nature. So this is a perfect opportunity to do that. They don't have to stick inside and not enjoy. Now they're not homeless. They have to remember, I do have a place to go that's safe, but let's go to the Buff Point. Let's go to, hopefully that we don't have issues down there, but let's go to all these places that are so beautiful in our area and just really start to build a different relationship with, nature. And that's a big undertaking to try to get them to, appreciate that. And what better way but biking and fishing and doing all this fun stuff.
And the other big difference is we do have a full kitchen, like you said. So we have folks that have volunteered to come in and teach. We have some unbelievable cooks too that we know, like, people who've won shows.
People in recovery are really good cooks too.
People in recovery, and I think, to be able to come in and teach someone your recipe, like right now, our meetings have always been pizza and grinders, and that's pretty much what we're kind of stuck on that. But we want to kind of expand that. We're looking for probably a bar size pool table, something as small as can be, because we just don't have enough room in there. We did have a great offer for one, but it's 9 foot by 5 foot something. It was too big. So it would be like a bar size table. We have almost 3/4 of an acre on the outside of the building. So, if you're good at some gardening, or you want to like clean up, or, if you need firewood right now, we have wood all over the ground. Well, we have a gentleman coming by this weekend, a friend of Joey's, and he's going to cut up a bunch of leftover logs. And Chris Levesque cut down a lot already. So if you need fire pit wood or something, pull in 124, pulling back. If you want to volunteer some time and come in, there's massive amounts of like vines that need to find their way into the dumpster. Tammy already started. Tammy started. There's one vine.
One and done.
There's one vine in a 30-yard dumpster.
It was more than a vine, Joe.
You said it was one.
It was like this big, long, like...
Oh, so it was an incredibly long 1/4 inch vine that's probably, 10 feet long. So.
I can't do everything.
Leon can't do everything. So those are the things that are going on down there. We do have a youth group. I'm hoping right now...
We're trying to come up with a new date because... I just reached out today. We have a couple people that are interested in joining, so we're trying to nail down a better date because it was kind of conflicted when, kids get really busy. They're in school, they got sports, they've got plays, they got this, they got that. So we're just trying to make sure that it works for everybody. So we're still working on that. But I want to not forget about May 31st.
May 31st.
That's our ribbon
cutting.
Gotta
talk about that. I was leaving time, but we might as well get on it.
Yeah, I think we get on it. I think it's going to be a big day.
I think it's going to be a huge day because, first of all, we talk about making connections and bringing people from the outside in, and a lot of the when you think of people in poetry, they always refer to a bridge. They always refer to like us reaching out or reaching across the bridge.
Yeah, we always talking about creating bridges to recovery.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden we're going to really do a bridge to recovery.
So what's the name of our walk?
Bridge to Recovery.
A bridge to recovery. And what bridge is it?
The Gold Star Bridge.
The largest bridge in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. The largest span bridge in Connecticut. We're basically going to walk over and back. We haven't done the exact mileage, but
it's a little over a 5K.
Yeah, just a hair over what a 5K would be. We're not running. It's just going to be a walk. What we're looking to do.
Walking in solidarity.
Yeah.
You can be struggling and really want to change your life. You can be in recovery. You can be a family member that wants to honor their loved one, that just want to walk and just be in solidarity with recovery in general. Just knowing that, recovery is possible is the message that we want to send.
Yeah, and if you work at a business, there's a possibility where you'll go online, and for me, you'll see a post online here shortly from me that says, do you want to support me in my walk in the Bridge to Recovery? And basically, there'll be ways where you'll just click on a link. We don't have the link on TV. We don't need it. We're Community Speaks Out. Look us up on Facebook. Google us, communityspeaksout.org. You'll find us. But there's definitely a lot of different ways to donate. But if you see someone that's walking or someone that you want to support, you can support yours truly. Or if you see somebody else and say, I'm going to support them by just donating to their walk, and they'll raise money for walking, but you don't have to do the walk. If you want to walk, click on the button, sign up. You'll get a T-shirt out of it. We're thinking about handing something to somebody at the other end to prove they walked over the bridge.
Probably a possible gold star.
A gold star, maybe something cool. Mm-hmm. What's funny, and probably the coolest.
I would say cool. we're trying to like conserve right now.
Yeah. But one of the neatest things that's happened we came up with the idea, Bridge to Recovery. We put it in the newspaper, and my father called me up, and he's pretty neutral on pretty much everything. And he doesn't get excited about much, but he called me up and said, "Hey, what you doing that fundraise? What is it? A walk? And you're walking over the Gold Star?" And I said, "Yep." Well, he said, "I want to do it with you," and mostly because it's kind of a bucket list item. And I didn't realize, after talking to other people, how many folks have never walked over the Groton London Bridge.
I ran out of gas on the Gold Star
So you
Bridge.
walked a little bit, not on purpose.
No, it wasn't really, but hopefully my fears are gone now.
Well, the Gold
You
Star
can
Bridge.
feel it actually moving when you're on it.
But so I grew
It's
up.
gonna be cool, though.
I grew up in London Public Housing, which is right under the bridge, and the bridge happens to be on the other end was the destination to the roller skating rink,
Yeah.
where we met all of our Groton girls.
Thank God he didn't meet me.
No, I didn't meet her that. We're after that.
You told me I was lucky that I didn't.
Yeah, she was lucky. I had my problems when I was that age. But we'd walk over the bridge and go back. We didn't think much of it. But now that we're talking about this opportunity to raise money, to raise awareness, and do all these great things, if you've never walked across that bridge and you lived here for 68 years like my dad has, and you want to do that just for the sake of doing it, come walk with us. Raise money for a good cause. Come see our place. If you have a skill that you want to share with somebody, and you don't have to be in recovery. We have folks that come to our meetings that, in fact, we should talk about this as well. This building is going to be basically in honor, named after a local attorney. He was the town attorney. In fact, when I had mentioned that my son was struggling at a council meeting, he kind of came up to me after and said, he wanted to learn more about what we were doing and what the cause was and why we were so passionate. It ended up driving us to get our 501.
Yeah, we didn't realize that why he wanted to learn was he didn't know much about it, but he had a case.
Yeah.
And he said, I have to in order to represent them, I have to learn everything I can about addiction. And he saw the power in the room and said, you guys this is something big. You need to make it bigger. You need to go nonprofit, and you can just do more with it. And we'll do this pro bono. So it was just with Sushmina
right.
Shapiro. Eric Callahan did the 501c3, but Matt Auger was a judge at the time of his death. He's so missed, but we're going to dedicate it's going to be the Matthew Auger Hub.
Matthew, So it's Community Speaks Out will be in the building, and again, and I think oftentimes when you start anything in the beginning, like we do our group meetings, we always have to think back of why we started it in the first place. Because a lot of times folks will sit down and we'll start talking about other things, and someone that just found out their loved one's in addiction ultimately comes in once a month, once every other month, and you can see they need to talk about something. And then I just remember back, or we all can remember back to the very first day you realized that your loved one was addiction, and how much fear you had and how scared you were. So a lot of times we go back, and Tammy had the wherewithal to remember that, without Matt's guidance, I think in the beginning of saying, we just wanted to we didn't know what we wanted to do, but we knew we wanted to make a difference, and to have a lawyer, and who we consider a very prominent lawyer in the community, to come up and say, how are people going to be able to support you if you're not a 501? Like, that needs to all happen. And he did make that happen.
Well,
a lot of different ways.
There was a person that, when that was actually offered to us, and it wasn't even on the radar, because I've had people say, you'll never get your nonprofit status in this field in addiction. It's just not going to happen.
Because there's other
and then,
nonprofits.
When Matt said he was behind us and he'd make it happen, we'll do this pro bono, we'll, get your 501s. I knew we were all set. I just knew we were all set. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, so
because I had literally let people say it's not going to happen, but we proved him wrong.
Oh, Matt didn't know the word no.
No, he didn't know
the word.
If you
Matt
knew
Auger, you knew that already.
Mighty. He was mighty.
He was mighty. He was. So if you and what we're thinking is if you're a Sushmina Shapiro employee and you wanted to walk.
Well, they're going to be. They're going to
they
be part.
Are,
They are going to be part of it.
walking.
They're just waiting for the actual signage thing to be done.
Okay.
They're actually going to be a part of it. His family is going
Excellent.
to be there. We're going to have the unveiling of his sign.
Yep.
And then the unveiling of the Community Speaks Out sign and the ribbon cutting. So
Okay.
we're hoping Attorney General Tong will come. We're hoping that
Everyone will be invited.
everyone's going to be invited. We'll invite everybody.
We had actually
But the town council will be invited in.
Absolutely.
They're
Town council,
detrimental.
City council.
Yep.
The Ledger Town Council. Most folks don't understand that. Although we're in Groton, we are a regional resource. We've helped folks in Norwich. We've helped folks on the other side of the country. And we don't promote that. It just sometimes when you're in the field and people are reaching out, oftentimes sometimes you don't realize how far your tentacles go out. And we've helped veterans that were in California get back here.
We're really seeing a bigger influx of veterans needing help. But you mentioned like it coming back around, and it's interesting because I got a call today, and from Stonington Institute, and they have a new program going on in Stonington, and the girl called. She's working for Stonington, and she just mentioned, just wanted to let you know that I know who you are. You played a detrimental part in the beginning of
Instrumental.
I do this every time.
She hates that I
do
correct
this every
her.
time.
Well, you do it.
Instrumental. To me, it's detrimental, but it's instrumental.
Detrimental part.
Okay.
No.
That instrumental part. See, I can't get past it. Of my recovery, and I was just like, oh my gosh, for 8 years. It was 8 years ago. She recognized my voice. Wow. So that's when you know that you are making a difference. Like we know that Community Speaks Out is making a difference because 8 years, I'm thinking, maybe we need to do some kind of alumni get together because we're getting some real recovery now. We have 10 years, someone in 10 years, married, working in big corporations, having kids. I mean, they're doing it.
Yeah, and I think we're involved, and it was, God, you guys spend so much time there, and it's not just us.
No.
Tammy and I happen to be the face of it, I think, in a lot of different ways because of a tragedy, obviously, that we both went through. But also, Joey was the first to speak out regionally.
Yeah.
So we were kind of the first ones there, but we're certainly not. And we weren't the first because we had Linda, we had Lisa.
They always say you're only as strong as your board and your volunteers.
Exactly.
You got to have both.
Yeah.
And
speaking of volunteers, if anybody ever wants to, talk about opportunities to volunteer. We have them now. Before folks would come up, we want to do this, want to do that. We have a volunteer that always cooks at a lot of our events. Sounds like fun. It's work.
Yeah.
But he sits there sometimes 4 or 5 hours and just sitting there flipping burgers or cooking hot dogs and hamburgers. That's something that we're going to need for May 31st. We may have it covered, we may not. If you're good at flipping hamburgers, and I built a monster grill. So it's actually a little bit of fun because it's a charcoal grill. It's different to cook on.
Bridge Market's going to help us out with some wraps, but she happens to be away. She's had to be away, so we'll do some fun stuff that day. And it's going to be a family-friendly event, so people can bring their kids with them.
So May 31st. So you're going to look us up anyway because you have to go online and sign up anyway. But it's May 31st. The 10 o'clock, the walk starts. So you probably end up showing up at 9 o'clock just to register, get your shirt and all those other things. We're going to, right at 10, maybe 10:15, we walk. We'll get back. And then folks that are going to show up for the ribbon cutting, they'll be there at the same time. There will be parking available down on Washington Park. It's a public park.
All along that road, too.
All along the street. We think it's going to be a really busy day. We actually want to thank everyone that came out already because we had just an open house just to show people the needs that we had. And I think we had 60 people there.
Yeah.
The community is behind us because they understand the problem.
I think they're also behind because, we're an all-volunteer working board.
We are.
With volunteers.
Real volunteers.
Yes.
Yep. That have been
and
showing
I
up.
could say that we're very proud of that.
Yeah, and we should be.
We should be.
Why wouldn't we be?
I think that it's the best. If you can find purpose in your life and it doesn't have a paycheck behind it, and you still get that complete gratification and joy out of it.
Yeah. It's good. Volunteering's addicting. I tell people, no matter how
it's a
dire,
good addiction.
It is another addiction. But no matter how dire that, right now, let's face it, the world seems like it's in turmoil. Politically, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It's still, you're posting something, someone's saying something back, and everything seems like a fight. That doesn't happen when I go to Community Speaks Out and volunteer. It's always about the mission. It's good to be involved with something where everyone's rowing the boat in the same direction.
Yeah.
We're just trying to help people heal and recover. And there's something to be said about that. And it doesn't have to be our group that you donate time to, but don't get caught up in all the hectic, our party's doing that, your party. I do get caught up in it.
I do. But when we're at our office, it's just people helping people. At that point, it's not
Oh, there's no political parties.
It's not who you vote for or what your
Nope.
political affiliation is, and
Yep.
we avoid that conversation when we have any activities. It's never even been brought up. People aren't thinking about that.
Well,
They're thinking about
know
having
for
fun.
certain that we've helped people that we know are on the exact opposite sides of the sphere politically, but we're good friends, and we don't talk about politics. And again, the show is called Born Political, so I'm going to talk a little bit about it here and there. But in the end, people helping people is not political, and it never should be, and it doesn't happen down there. So if you're looking to really to do something cool, I mean, imagine, we're gonna have a volunteer that's gonna have to open up the Connex box in the morning, maybe on weekends. I'm thinking during the week it'll be slow, but making sure people are on a bicycle, make sure they can handle a bicycle.
We might ask
We're working with
Dylan.
the Elks. They're gonna get us some helmets. You don't have to as an adult, but we're gonna obviously encourage it.
Yeah, we'll have Dylan come down maybe and kind of check the safety of all the bikes and.
Yeah, well, so again, Mystic Cycle Works, I don't want to forget, so many people have helped us. If I forgot you and you watch us, it's because of my brain, not because of a lack of appreciation. But Mystic Cycle Works gave us 15 bicycles.
And there was more than that.
No, it's like 15 of them. Okay. Or no, it might be like 18. They're unbelievable. They're not. These aren't like what we've been doing is having people donate them, drop them off. And you never know what you're going to get with a bike. Sometimes they need more work. Mystic Cycle Works went through them. They all operate. They all work. It's something that someone's going to be able to come in, grab a bicycle, take a ride. Again, sometimes what we found out is people in addiction, they have to replace their addiction with something, and exercise and fresh air is probably the number one thing you can do.
And there's going to be times when someone says, I'm having trouble getting to work. And then you just take a bike.
Take a bike and keep it.
And if we don't have the bikes left, we call Dylan, who we partner with.
Yeah, and I already had somebody reach out and say, I didn't know you were doing the bike thing. I have bikes and I'll give you. And someone said, where'd you get bikes from? He goes, I bought them. And like most Americans, I never used it. So it's like brand new. We're all guilty of that. I have bikes that I don't use. We have a bike at home that we don't really use too much.
That's it. I'm using it tonight.
That's it? No, you're not. It's too cold. That's not happening. Let's not push ourselves. We're going to dinner after this. We're kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta go eat, man. I'm getting hungry. Hey guys, we only have this last minute left. May 31st.
We only have a minute left.
That's it. It's almost over. May 31st, right?
May 31st.
Be there at 9:00 if you want to walk, but definitely go online and sign up ahead of time. It's much easier for all of us. If you just show up, hey, we're not gonna turn you away. But please
think about volunteering that day if you can't walk.
Yep. Sign up ahead of time, and we will see you down there.
Or just hang out.
124 North Street in Groton. Come on down, join us. It's going to be, that day is going to be great, but we're going to have an unbelievable summer. The summer of 2025 will be remembered as the summer of recovery here in Groton, because we are just starting, and I'm like, we're excited. Tennis rackets, basketballs, whatever you can think of. Come down and give us your ideas too, because there are some things that people show up and say, hey, what about this? And it ends up being a great event. And I think someone asked for bowling a long time ago, and it ended up just being.
Yeah, that's why we talk about bridging. Like when there's a gap of something to do, we just keep listening. We have to listen to those that we're serving, right?
That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you. It's been a couple weeks since I've been here. I'll be back soon. I'm going to bring on some guests that probably are going to be on the other side of the sphere, but we're going to hash these things out and try to get us on the right path. I'm hoping
the students for recovery will come.
Yeah, we'll get students from recovery. So we'll see you next week, guys. Take it easy. Joe Dela Cruz, my wife, Tammy, thanks for being on the show, honey. Let's go get some dinner.
Okay.
All right.